Good afternoon, North Texas. It's Michael Rubin and Jenny Swain back in the studio for Sell Your Company for Maximum Value Radio Show number 3. Welcome to the studio.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
We're doing it.
That's right. Yay.
Last week, we covered a little bit about Chapter 1 of my new book, Sell Your Company for Maximum Value. The first chapter is Stop Making the Donuts, and we talked about, we all want to slow down at some point, don't we, Jenny, and stop doing what we're doing for a living.
That's right.
Yeah, and start enjoying our kids and our grandkids and our passions.
Traveling.
Golfing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, shopping.
Skiing, like this week, spring break.
That's right.
Spring break. Hey, that's a good day. It's like every Friday, right? Spring break comes around. Business owners have a break to take I'm taking my whole family to Vail Beaver Creek this week. 8 of us. We've got my 2 daughter-in-laws, our two kids, and our two grandkids. Brooks is 4, and Dylan May will be with us. She's 1. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And we had spring break last week.
What'd you guys do?
A couple of us, my husband and my son, they went out to Guadalupe Peak and hiked up the mountain about, I guess it's a 3,000-foot elevation.
Nice.
And then the rest of us stayed home and we saw Dune 2, played some padel, and just kind of hung out.
Padel. Yeah, we kind of covered that last week. I was on the pickleball court this week, but padel is some other kind of like version, isn't it?
That's right. It's like a cross between tennis, racquetball. It's crazy. It's crazy. Right. It's a lot of fun.
All right, so this week we're going to get into Chapter 2. Timing is everything. We talked about that in our first week, and I think it was March 4th, and last week we talked about timing. Let's get right into Timing is Everything. In the book, I literally ask questions. I start the chapter off talking about COVID, how COVID really took a bite out of some business owners. If you've been building your business for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you run into COVID. I mean, I had a business, Massage Heights, that actually they got shut down. Massage places got shut down by the government.
I still owned my franchise during COVID.
That's right.
Right. And so I don't think I've ever said it. I didn't say it on the first episode, but it's a My Gym Children's Fitness Center.
Yep.
And clearly, because it's a children's center, it was 100% shut down. And it was interesting because we had to pivot to online classes, and it was a tough time.
It's tough. It's tough on business owners. So COVID took a bite out of a lot of businesses, a lot of energy. We've had a lot of meetings since then. I think things started to get back to normal. I said in the book, 2020, end of 2021, 22. I think things are pretty much back to normal, but I think the motivation of business owners has gone dramatically up to actually retire, sell their company for maximum value, start considering a sale.
Yeah, I think COVID took a toll on everybody emotionally.
Yeah, in our meetings, haven't you felt that?
They're done. They're ready.
They're done. They're ready. And we talked a little bit about employees. Employees are a blessing, right? If you're a baby boomer, you're a Gen Xer, you've built that business over a few decades. Maybe it was in the 70s, 80s, or 90s you started the business, maybe 2000. You've supplied a lot of people with a lot of jobs, right? Small business owners make that economy go. But right now, after COVID, things have just started to get normal again, but those employee hassles, the vendor things, the supply chain seemed broken during COVID.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of my manufacturers, we focus on 3 industries primarily: manufacturing, distribution, and service. So if you're a business owner that's a manufacturer, distribution, or service company, we'd love to talk to you at some point. But as I go into this chapter in this book that I wrote, it's a very easy read. Timing is Everything is about 3 or 4 pages, it looks like. And in here, I write some questions down on what entrepreneurs or business owners maybe are thinking. And really, as I frame this, and I'm reading right out of the book, it says the following questionnaire might shed some light and give you a little clarity into whether the timing is right. Take a moment and see how many of these questions below you can confidently say yes to. Number 1, my gross revenues have been steady or increasing slightly the last 3 years. 2, my net income has been steady or increasing slightly over the last few years. I have a bookkeeper outside CPA, and my books are well documented and accurate. The numbers are the numbers. I have consistent numbers, gross and net revenue. I have a good, loyal employee base with very little turnover. I have dependable suppliers and solid sources for my raw goods and materials. My top customer represents less than 15% of my overall gross revenue. Most of my new customers come from referrals. I have a solid management team in place, and the business runs smoothly. My systems are in place and documented to ensure new employees and managers know how to do their individual jobs and responsibilities. When I read that list of questions, Jenny, what strikes you?
Well, all of them are really important. A couple of them that just strike me, I guess because I'm a CPA, the one about the bookkeeper, the one that you say, I have a bookkeeper or outside CPA and my books are well documented and accurate. So many times we see people come in who are interested in selling their companies and their tax returns don't tie to their internal financial statements.
That's a great point.
So we need to spend some time making sure that all of the tax adjusting entries that happen by your tax CPAs at the end of the year, that they get imported into your internal financial statements.
That's exactly right. And now I'd just like to take a time. If you're a business owner and you want a confidential initial call with myself, founder to founder, confidential call, I'm going to give you my cell phone the first time in the show this week. It's 469-995-6060. 469-995-6060 for a complimentary opinion of value, a free copy of my book, to meet with Jenny and I. Jenny does a great job. If your books aren't in order, we have a pre-consulting division in our firm, MDR Associates. Folks, we've been around 15 years. We've closed over 225 transactions, and we're there to bless you. If we can't bless you, we don't want to be involved. So if you'd like an introductory phone call with me, personally, founder to founder, confidentially, because we don't want your employees, your competitors, and we certainly don't want your clients to know that you're selling. Confidentiality is our business. We know it's paramount. So give me a call, and I'd love to have an introductory 5 to 15 minute introductory call with you and just discuss what your personal goals and objectives are. All right, back to the book.
Okay, so another one that I want to point out that I think is important for business owners to think about is having consistent numbers. So it's also important to understand your margins.
Yes.
When a buyer's coming in, especially if you've got several different types of revenue streams, you want to be able to show what your margins are for all of those different type of revenue streams. And then you also want to show that they're consistent over time.
Yes.
Nothing creates more questions than a margin that's 40% one month and then 20% the next, and then 15% the next.
Consistency is key, right? We talked the last 2 weeks. We've said, look, if you take a downturn with your gross or your gross margins or your net over the last few years, if it turns down, the company, your business almost becomes unsellable. So it's kind of counterintuitive. We get people to call us all the time when their business is not doing well. Mm-hmm. That is not the time to call us.
They want to be out.
They're done. They want to be out, right? And so all the buyers look at the last 3 years. Is that right? Primarily the last 3 years of profit and loss, tax returns, right? Balance sheets. Mm-hmm. So first of all, you want those to be in order. Why don't you take a second and describe what does that look like? What do we do for clients when they come on board? The first thing that we do is...
Well, the first thing we do is I take a look month over month at your financial statements, and I try to make sure I understand which revenue streams relate to which expenses, and we want to make sure that all your margins look consistent. And if they don't, it's potentially just an accounting issue. It's really not that your margins are all over the place.
It's cleanup, which you've done your whole career.
Putting things into the proper periods, things like that.
Yeah, so you've been a blessing. As our CFO, you've been a big blessing to the firm, and you've helped. I know we've closed 15 or 20 transactions with your marketing package and the way you've helped business owners clean up their financials that weren't quite where they need to be.
That's right.
The second thing we talked about with timing is everything, and we touched on it last week. I want to expound inside the book. There's a set of questions that I ask about whether someone's emotionally ready.
Okay, before we move on to that, I want to point out one more of those bullet points. The one where you talk about my top customer represents less than 15% of my overall gross revenue.
Yeah, it's important.
We see that.
Customer concentration is really, really critical. If you've got 80% your top customer, you need to start diversifying away from that customer. Get that down to reasonable. I think I said the demarcation point's around 20%. Your top customer can't be more than 20%. Well, as the theory goes, when a buyer buys your business, if that top customer represents 80% and they go away, 80% of that business is gone.
That's right.
It's over.
That's right.
So buyers really shy away from anything that's not diversified below top customer being 15 or 20%.
Right. And we've seen that a lot with our clients. I mean, I've seen a client before who didn't even really realize that they were so concentrated until they started having collection issues with that customer. That customer got into financial trouble and stopped kind of paying their bills, and then their cash really suffered.
And some businesses are lumpy. I mean, our business, we have a closing every other month. Every month, we try to have a closing every month. We handle 12 to 15 business owners a year. We meet with over 80 to 120 business owners a year.
That means you got a lot of closing dinners.
We have a lot of closing celebration dinners. We'll get to that some other time.
We always talk about steak.
Bob's Chop House. That's right. Big steak at the end of the whole thing. And we love to get to the closing and wiring funds. But back into the book, let's talk about the emotional aspects here, because not only do you have to be ready, and with all the questions that we mentioned, or were sort of practical questions, right? Gross revenue, net revenue. Do you have a CPA? These are emotional questions you need to ask yourself.
Yeah.
We find that until a business owner knows what they're doing next, they will not complete a transaction. They must have a vague idea of what the next season of their life looks like.
And you've been in with these sellers, and so you have a lot of stories and examples around these. So why don't I read through them, and you can interject as you see fit.
Yeah.
That work? Okay. All right. So the first one, I regularly dream about what's next and can visualize moving on. I have already figured out the question of what's next in my life. I can see myself chasing my passions instead of working in my business daily. I am ready to slow down and smell the roses. I need to take a vacation. It has been years since I took some time off. My family needs more of my time and attention. I am tired of employee issues and all the business challenges that I face daily. I have grown my business to a certain level, and I cannot see taking it further. We had a good run, and it's time to move on to the next chapter of my life. Another buyer or buyer group could really come in and grow this business better than I can. My significant other thinks now is the time to sell.
That sometimes is the biggest tip-off, right? Our wife or our husband says, listen, it's time to sell. We haven't taken a vacation in 6 years.
That's right.
Continue.
That's right.
There's two more. Go ahead.
I have had close friends and advisors mention selling my business. I do not have a child that wants to take the reins of my business.
I did an interview this last week on Fox Radio about kids taking over their business. You know, the facts are a lot of the kids don't want the business. They've got their own dreams, aspirations. No matter how successful mom or dad's business is, a family business, they don't want to take that business over. It blows me away sometimes because some of those businesses are netting $500,000, $1 million, $2, $3 million a year.
Right.
And their son or daughter does not want to take it over. So
they just have their own dreams.
Yeah, and you know what? There hasn't been a show anywhere in North Texas like this that describes every step of the process like we're going to over the next 26 weeks. We're going to start in March. We're going to end in August.
Right. When
football starts, we stop. We take a 6-month break, and we'll be back next year. But if you're a business owner in North Texas and you're starting to look at these questions and they're really resonating with you, I'd like you to reach out to me as the CEO and founder personally on my private cell phone at 469-995-6060, 469-995-6060. Text or call me, and I will get back to you within the next 24 hours personally, and we'll have a private and confidential conversation on whether it makes sense. Jenny, those are some great points. Thanks for reading those straight out of the book.
Sure.
I think what I'd like to cover next is a little bit of what are your plans this next season of life? Like, when are you going to stop and slow down and start smelling the roses? We touched on it last week.
Right.
But what's your vision of when you're going to slow down a little bit? You and Patrick.
Right. Well, gosh, that's kind of hard for me to picture at this point. You know, I've got teenage kids, and I would say we're probably 10 to 12 years out.
Yeah, so 55, 57, 58.
Yeah. You know, I love to travel, and we haven't been able to do a lot of it over the past 10, 15 years.
You guys are both working hard. You're raising family, you got kids, you're in the thick of it.
That's right. And, you know, we're really into, you're going to laugh at me, we're really into adventure traveling. So there's these groups, right, that put together adventure trips.
That sounds fantastic.
Trips. And we went to Costa Rica a couple summers ago and did everything that Costa Rica has to offer.
I heard Costa Rica is amazing.
Beautiful.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
How long were you there?
We were there for about 10 to 12 days. But we did canyoning, we did zip lining, beach, we did surf lessons, we did volcano jumping, all kinds of things. And so I think I hope to stay healthy and mobile long enough that we can do those kinds of things.
Are you going to take it to like the crocodile wrestling level?
You know, I'm not I am not quite that adventurous. I'd like a high percentage of surviving.
You and Patrick are awfully fit, awfully athletic. I didn't know what you're going to volcano luge.
Oh yeah,
crocodile wrestling.
My husband's really into scuba diving, or he
nice.
used to be, and that is to me that's like a 50-50 chance of surviving.
Oh, stop it.
Same with jumping out of an airplane.
We have a lot. I'm sure there's a
chance.
lot of baby boomers that love to scuba dive.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The point is, when are they going to stop making the donuts?
That's right.
Figure out the timing is within the next year, 2 or 3 years. Give me a call. Let's have a discussion, an initial discussion. Again, Michael Rubin with MDR Associates. Our website is www.mdrma.com. That's mdrma.com. You can go to YouTube. We've got 5 of our podcasts out.
Yeah,
People can check out our podcast on YouTube.
Lots of previous clients on there too.
Yeah, previous clients are telling their stories on our podcast. You can meet Jenny, myself on YouTube or our website. Again, that's www.mdrma.com. mdrma.com. If you want that confidential consultation with me personally, hit my private and confidential cell phone at 469-995-6060, 469-995-6060. Would love to discuss your personal goals and objectives. And like we always say, you don't know if you want to sell until you know what you're worth.
That's right.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, North Texas, to Sell Your Company for Maximum Value with Michael D. Rubin and Jenny Swain, our CFO at MDR Associates. And we are here talking about really when is the timing right? Chapter 2 of the book, right? Timing is everything.
During the break, you talked a lot just between you and me about how amazing you think these baby boomers are and how much they have given up in order to build their businesses. So why don't you tell them everything you were talking about?
Look, I hear story after story. This last week we heard a story about an OBGYN building a practice over 45 years. We're actually selling his medical practice right now. This will be the first time we've actually sold a medical practice. But I hear stories about people that took the ultimate chance. I can think of a concrete company, borrowed $10,000 from their mother to start the business in 1978. We sold that business in 2013 for almost $18 million. And so, you think about the business owners and they make America move. The whole wheel doesn't start until small business America makes our economy move. These are my heroes. Whether you're a Gen Xer, you're a baby boomer, you took that ultimate risk, at the end of chapter 2 in my book. You know what I say? Congratulations. You've built something that everyone wishes they owned. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry in corporate America wishes they'd taken that courageous shot, that courageous jump. They jumped out of corporate America. They jumped out of what they were doing. Some of them didn't graduate college. Some of them, I met one gentleman didn't even graduate high school, built an incredible $20 million business.
That's right.
You built a business. You have employees. You take care of families. You guys are my heroes. You should be proud of what you built. Incredibly proud of the business that you built here in the greatest country in America, in the greatest state in the Union, Texas. We're Texans serving Texans. I'm just so proud to represent the baby boomers and the business owners that are our clients.
And when you say that in the boardroom to them, explain some of their reactions.
I've seen tears.
Yeah.
I had one gentleman look me dead in the eye, about 68 years old, said, "No one's ever said that to me in 40 years.
That's right. Because they're just out there just making it happen.
Grinding.
Grinding, making decisions.
Raising families, building businesses. But you know what's cool about building a business? I own my own business. You own your own business. You know what's cool about owning your own business? You get to write as big a check as your operating account will let you, and you take as many dang vacations as you want to. If you want to go to Vail, or you want to go to Whitefish, Montana, you want to go to somewhere like Rosemary Beach, I've heard that's incredible. I've been there twice. You want to go to Costa Rica, you can just take off and do that as long as you have that management in place. So if you don't have management in place, that's coming up in future radio shows. We're going to talk about putting management in place, diversifying that customer base, making it a more sellable company.
Creating your exit strategy.
For a higher price. That's right. What we do at MDR Associates is simple, folks. We create your perfect exit strategy. We listen to your goals and objectives, and if we can meet them, we engage, and if we don't, we don't. We choose what? 1 out of 4? You've seen 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4.
Right.
They select us, we select them. If you're a business owner in North Texas, you're driving around, maybe COVID took a bite out of you. Maybe employees are getting to you. Maybe you just want to take vacation, slow down and smell the roses. I'd like you to hit me on my private and personal cell phone at 469-995-6060, 469-995-6060. That's 469-995-6060. I text with all my clients. You prefer to text me your name, your company name, maybe your web address, your personal cell phone. Tell me your story in a text. I'd love to get a text from you. You'll find I'm very responsive. I'll get right back to you. And we can have that introductory 5 to 15-minute phone call, confidential phone call. Jenny, what would you like to add to the clients that we've served together, the stories that we've seen from the beginning all the way to the discovery meeting, and of course that celebration dinner? Add something real quick, and we're going to take a break in just a second.
Yeah, no, I just want to say thank you. I mean, you who have built businesses have created a legacy for your children, for your families. You have shown us how to do it, and I just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for taking the risk, the ultimate risk of starting your business, and let us help you to maximize the sale of that company when you're done or when you're close to done. We're going to take a quick break, folks, and we'll be right back with Sell Your Company for Maximum Value. Hello, North Texas. Welcome back to Sell Your Company for Maximum Value. I'm Michael D. Rubin, our CEO and founder. In the studio, we have Jenny on the block, our CFO.
Hey.
Don't you think we need to talk a little bit about our 10-step unique process and when someone engages with us?
Yeah.
That's the meat of the book. That's in the middle of the book.
Right. I think that's important.
Yeah. And so our unique process was designed starting in 2008 when we saw a real need for representation, professional representation of businesses in between revenues. Our website says 3 to 100 million, but we go down to sometimes to 2.5, 1.5, 2 million. So don't look at that as a hard line in the sand, the 3 to 100 million. Our average deal, what do you think? It's around 6 to 8 million. About 8 million is our average size deal now.
That's right.
But I remember when it was 800,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to cut your teeth. Back in 2008, I'm with VR Business Brokers selling bowling alleys, marinas, cigar lounges, right? Mm-hmm. And you grow your firm up a little at a time. God blesses your firm. We're a Christian firm. That just means we're high integrity, high transparency, and high confidentiality. Right? Yeah, I love Jesus. I don't mind saying that out loud. I've been waiting to say that. Show number 3.
We're getting close to Easter.
I know. Easter's coming around. Jesus is my hero. I said the business owners are my hero. That's true. But I have submitted my life to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and I'm not shy to say that. Now, in saying that, we've served all people from all different types of backgrounds and religions.
All walks of life.
Buddhists, Hindus, atheists. So we're not that elite Christian group that says, oh, we're only going to serve Christians. But I will tell you an interesting fact. Over 60% of everyone we've ever served has gone full-time in the ministry.
Wow.
60%. Really? I think it's one of those things when you put yourself out there, you say you're a Matthew 6:33 firm, we're going to seek the kingdom and his righteousness and everything will be added. When you make that kind of statement of who you are in your heart and you treat others the way they want to be treated, you attract to your own reality.
Right. So yeah, we just finished a deal with someone who is planning to do full-time ministry work.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Peterson's Landscaping. Been building it since the 70s. Mm-hmm. We sell it to Matt. Our podcast, we go over with Matt how he bought the company. Our latest podcast, I think it's episode number 4. You can find it on YouTube or our website. And, Joe came in the studio. I mean, Joe came in the studio and Matt did, but Joe came into the discovery meeting and literally the first thing he says to me is, I want to go full-time in the ministry and I want to sell my company for enough where I can help my pastor full-time for no pay.
Yep.
For 0 pay. I just want to be full-time in God's ministry and God's work.
Right.
And I got to tell you, folks, that fired me up because that's what makes MDR Associates so different. If we don't bless you and your family, we do not want to be involved in the transaction. We don't. If we can't meet your goals and objectives, I can't look a business owner in the eye and say, we're going to sell your company for maximum value in the shortest period of time. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be involved. And so what makes us different is we're a Christian firm with Christian values. We're a founder-led firm, meaning every deal, I am the lead deal maker. You're not going to be thrown down to some young associate. I've got 15 years experience meeting with over 3,000 business owners, closing over 200 transactions. So we've got a lot of poker playing experience with the buyers. And you've got to create
You're a good poker player.
You got to have a God-given gift somewhere. Your gift is financial. My gift is sales. Right? My sales IQ is fairly high, but your financial IQ is fairly high.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think together we're a very different firm. Our heartbeat of why we do what we do is so different. I do what I do to defend the business owner and get a fair market value for their company in a very short period of time. We're 2 to 3 times faster than other firms because our 10-step unique process. So let's get into that. I'm going to read some of these and you can comment on it. Step 1, when you come in after our introductory call, folks, if you want to call, just an introductory call, founder to founder, hit me on my cell phone at 469-995-6060, 469-995-6060. Text or call me. We'll have that introductory call. That will lead hopefully to a discovery meeting. Tell us about what a discovery meeting is. About an hour, hour and a half.
That's right. It's about an hour and a half, and we sit and hear your story. We want to know how your company, what you're about. We ask a lot of questions, and then we
I'd
also
say 40, 50, 60 questions.
Yeah, right. And then we also ask them a lot about what their goals are. What do they want to do afterwards?
Absolutely. What's next?
That's right. And what do you want out of this transaction?
Yeah.
Right?
Step 2 is executing the listing agreement or engagement letter. Folks, it's an agreement. It's not a contract, right? You don't want to work with us. We've literally ripped up engagement letters the day after a person's come in. It's not a you don't do that with contract. You do that because we can't do handshake deals, right? We only get paid our success fee when you sell. So we have to ask a lot of questions. We are taking your temperature on how a good listing for us is simple. It's profitable, trackable, you're highly motivated, and we like you.
Right.
This isn't a 2-hour transaction. We're relational.
Right.
This is a 3, 6, 9, 12-month engagement where we're going to talk hundreds of times. We're going to text each other potentially hundreds of times. We're in the trenches together.
Yep.
So we're careful to engage, and you should be also.
Well, no, I don't want anyone to think that we're saying that you have to sign this listing agreement at the discovery meeting.
Oh, we just want to meet you.
Right.
We want to give you a complimentary opinion of value. I want to sign and give you a free complimentary copy of my book. That's a great point. Step 3, complete marketing package, 4K video, and third-party valuation.
And I think this is where we really stand out.
Talk about it.
Well, I mean, people know if they've listened to our last couple of episodes that I owned a franchise and that I went through the process of trying to sell it through a broker. And there was nothing like this offered. They didn't offer me a marketing package and a 4K HD video, a third-party valuation, none of those things. So,
yeah, I get a lot of comments from private equity and buyers that say you simply package companies better than any firm we've seen, and that's a true compliment to what God's put together at the firm.
And the video is kind of a new thing for us.
The video is about 2 years old.
Right.
We've only done 15 of them, but we've sold 13 of those companies.
Yep.
It really puts an emotional sense of who the owner is, drone video of the manufacturing, distribution, or service facility, and so a buyer doesn't need to interrupt that business.
That's what I was going to say.
It doesn't have to interrupt the business, and that time on market is shortened or condensed.
Right.
That video makes us really, but your marketing package with your financial IQ
thank you.
and the way that you get into financials and you make sure the numbers are really, really important. Right. All right, we'll move on. So the video, the marketing pack, and the third-party valuation, folks, we'll do it sometimes. Other times we'll know based on when you come in, we're going to give you don't know if you want to sell till you know what you're worth. We give you a complimentary opinion of value. Step 4, screen prospective buyers. As buyers start coming in, we're looking for ready, willing, and able. We're going to get into the 3 type of buyers in a future episode, but basically there's financial buyers, strategic buyers, right? And family offices. So we're going to cover those different type of buyers.
And so we bring them the buyers. Like they don't have to worry about that. You screen them and bring them.
Step 5, schedule buyer-seller meetings. This is where the magic happens. When we get a buyer together with you as a seller, we know whether it's a home run or not in the first 15 minutes, and so will you. The magic either happens or it doesn't. Step 6, entice multiple LOIs. You can't do a deal with just one offer. You got to have multiple. Step 7, review all offers with our client. We do that in person. We will not send an offer over email. Email is where deals die in our business. Email and text. In person is where they happen, eyeball to eyeball. I guess I'm a little old school. Step 8, the due diligence process. It's a daunting process, the due diligence process. We're going to get into that. That's a chapter in a future radio show. Step 9, create all legal documents. Steve Clemens does a great job. He's on our championship deal team. He'll represent you. And step 10, as you mentioned earlier, at Bob's Chop House or a restaurant of your choice, lobster, filet, and we all laugh and celebrate, tip a wine glass to the fact that we sold it and it's completed to a buyer that will carry on that generational legacy.
That's right.
We're going to take a quick break, folks, with our show, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, business owners in North Texas. This is Michael D. Rubin and
Jenny Swain.
Talking about buying and selling businesses. We're an high-touch M&A advisory firm here in North Texas. Been in the business 15 years, closed over 200 transactions, learned a few things. We just covered a lot of information.
We have covered a lot of information, lots of details today.
Well, we just went over how we simplify, an M&A process. I go to these M&A conferences. They say it's 50 steps.
Wow.
So for us to simplify this to 10 steps,
right?
Discovery meeting through closing and wiring of funds, just 10 simple steps with the HD 4K video, with the incredible marketing package you put together, with the third-party valuation. There's a lot of tools we have to package a company to achieve maximum value. Because you know what? Our clients, they're interested in two things. Sell it for maximum value and do it in a reasonable amount of time and keep it confidential.
Well, and really a lot of this is work we do, right? I don't want them to feel like this is overwhelming or anything.
Talk about that as we're going through the 10 steps. You really do most of the work for the business owner. Talk about that for a second. When they start sending financials, they've signed the engagement letter, they're on the market, we're going to go test them. That's a great point. Before you get to that, don't you want to test the market? Think about it. If you're 55 to 65 years old and you're, 1, 2, 3 years away from selling.
That's right.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
Test the market with us. Test us. Challenge us to go get the number you were thinking of, or at least let's discuss it, because you don't know if you want to sell until you know how much you're worth.
Yep.
With that point, before we go into this, if you're a business owner here in North Texas and you want to know simply what your company is worth in a free opinion of value, I'll give you a complimentary opinion of value and a complimentary book. When you come in, I'm going to give you a book. I'll sign the book. Hit my cell phone at 469-995-6060, 469-995-6060, or hit our website at www.mdrma.com. That's mdrma.com. Now, back to what we were discussing. I'm going to throw it back to you, Jenny. Talk a little bit about when someone engages with us, how you take the pressure off of them and almost act as their CFO.
Right. Well, the initial steps we try to make that as easy as possible. Once they've signed a listing agreement and we're getting their marketing package and their video ready, all that they really have to do is fill out a business profile, send us some financial statements and tax returns. And then as I build the marketing package and as Tom puts together the video, we might come back and ask a few questions, but all of that work is done behind the scenes. Behind the scenes.
Folks, you need to focus on your business. We ask you to put your eyes on your business, make sure the numbers continue to stay steady or go slightly up so that we have the best possibility of getting the best outcome for that business owner.
Then once we enter into once we have a buyer agreement and we enter into
make an offer, the LOIs start coming in. We negotiate the top LOI with our seller. Right. We get to design. That's a really good point. Nothing's out of your control. We design that offer. They're either going to come to our terms or they're out of consideration. A lot of people think when they put their business up in the market, it's out of their control. It's always in our control. We either control that transaction or the buyer takes control.
Right, and you do a really good job. The seller may not even know all the options, right? So you do a great job of laying out all the options, or maybe if something doesn't work between buyer and seller, then you come back with another option that is a win-win for everybody.
Sometimes you got to pivot. I think a good M&A advisor is creative. They're quick on their feet. They pivot quickly, right? They're obviously on it, high integrity, high transparency, high confidentiality. But you got to believe in the person. It's a lot like a sports agent representing an athlete. I say that a lot because it's true, right? To get that.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. Are we going full Jerry Maguire right now?
I was trying to do my best Cuba Gooding Jr., but I don't think it works.
Oh, show me the money. Oh, that's a little different than we're Christian firm, but I guess that's Apple. I love Jerry Maguire.
It was on the other day. I kind of got into it.
Did you watch it?
I did.
All right. Well, coming back to reality, as we finish chapter 2, there's some key questions to consider. So I'm going to read these 3, and I want you to comment on all 3. In the back of our book, in the back of the book that we designed, we're going to give you a complimentary copy when you come meet with us. We just love to meet you, love to hear your story. We'd love to understand your personal goals and objectives. But I designed these questions at the end of the chapter to really for you to write inside the book and kind of go on your own journey, your own next season journey. And here's the first question. Is your business currently positioned to sell? Is it steady or slightly increasing?
And if it's not, what can you do to make it that way?
We have a pre-exit consulting department. Jenny will meet with us. I'll pull Jenny into that first meeting. If you tell me, you know what, our numbers are not where they need to be to max value, that's a great point. We have a pre-exit consulting division.
Maybe you don't even know for sure what your numbers are because you've got a lot of extra stuff, non-operational stuff buried into your numbers, and we can help pull that out so you can get a clear picture.
You can clean up those financials. Question number 2, do you feel emotionally ready to sell your business and launch into the next season of your life? The emotional thing is a real thing. I talk people off ledges all the way through transactions, don't I?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Question number 3, what time frame do you feel you will be ready to sell your business? 1, 3, 5 years? I think 1 year ahead is a perfect time, 6 to 12 months, because we can really delve into that business owner's financials, clean it up, get a formal third-party valuation from our valuation team. It's outside of our firm. That's beyond the complimentary opinion of value. But, folks, if you're a business owner in North Texas, you're driving around wondering, you're starting to think, I'd like to smell the roses a little bit. I'd like to take a vacation. I'd like to hang out with my kids and grandkids and just do life and my passions, whether it's golf or whatever. Maybe it's painting. If you want to get back to your passion, sell your company for maximum value, I'm Michael D. Rubin with MDR Associates, and I'm going to give you my personal cell phone at 469-995-6060, 469-995-6060, or hit our website at www.mdrma.com. Lastly, I'd just like to say, if you haven't seen our 5 podcasts, there's 5 on YouTube. They're on our website. Just click watch the show when you go to our website, or go to YouTube and look up MDR Associates. Hit the subscribe button, and you'll get to meet Jenny and I virtually by watching our podcast, not just listening to it. Until next week, North Texas, be blessed.